Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. I'm trying to check how well you can hear me or how clear this is going to come through. Every time I try to do this, and it's kind of lagging right now. It's something like this phone by this computer maybe makes it do it. I don't know what's going on. But I'm going to do this video. If for some reason it screws up, it's free. I'll just do it again. So, we're talking rod and reels. And if you just joined the show, buckle up and hang on. Because Bass Bonsai, we're back in the house, not out on the water, and I'm going to try to just give you a few takes on my opinion from if you're just starting out, you want to get a couple rod and reel combos to do a lot, or you're kind of up in there on like which lineup would you go with. Like if you had to invest money in a full line of rod and reels that could cover it, mainly on rods. Reels really I find there's hardly, I'll mention one, there's really not a lot of reels where you will just pick a reel and buy it, in like 3 or 4 gear ratios. But rods, a lot of times, certain rod brands won't have everything you're wanting. They kind of they're like limited on the range of what you can get for the money kind of deal. So let's just start out going to, oh look, there's the one I bought. What page are you looking for on AliExpress? I don't know what you're looking for on AliExpress, but you can find anything on AliExpress. You can find a new wife on AliExpress. But I'm just saying. But anyway, yeah, AliExpress got everything, guys. I just picked up this rod for multiple reasons, mainly because it's the only higher end bougie rod that I could put my hand on other than an NRX and the Conquest that don't really impress me for that much money. I feel this rod, I just like the way it felt in hand and the action of it and the lightness, the crispness of it compared to the NRX. It's probably like right there with it, but it's cheaper. It doesn't have the guarantee that comes with the NRX rods, but who wants to be stuck with the rod that you really don't end up liking for life, right? So, for those of you that don't have a lot of time, I will try not to waste it. Let's jump right to what I recommend, and then we're going to go through the whole spectrum. But if I had to pick one rod and reel lineup, and like both that can get the job done, I would have to go with my least favorite reel brand, right? No, not really, but Shimano. Because if you go, where'd they go? Oh, they're down here. And I'll explain myself why. Now, if you were wanting to split it up, it's not going to be this rod. But if you're wanting like a full-on matching set, whether you're thinking about starting tournaments, you just want to build up your arsenal. Like if I kind of was starting to a point where I was just kind of getting into it kind of deal, I would start with these right here. Now, Rogers, I believe, starts these out at $159. I want to say they're $20 cheaper. But this Curado lineup, I can't feel a huge difference in the... if you can see, it's got this... like, I think, don't quote me 100%, but I think that blank material is either the same or very, very close to a Zodius and the Exprides. It's either the same thing and just different components that make it cheaper, because these are still pretty expensive. They're like right under the Zodius. Now, as far as I know, the ones I was filling up at Rogers don't have the same soft touch, and then they've got the EVA. So the newer Zodius and your Exprides are going to have Expride has the cork, and the Zodius has the full-on deal, kind of like the Poison Adrena. But if you look down here, you can see that they have a lot of options that will cover any fishing, any bass fishing you're going to want to do. And then even if you're a guy like me that you like you like shorter rods, you like to stay in between that, less than 7 foot but longer than 6'6", they've got a ton. 6'10" medium light, 6'10" medium, 6'10" light. and 6'10" medium heavy. I mean, they got all that just in between that, which is good for me. Like if I guess I'm technically on a budget, but I'm not really on a budget, I guess. And I'm kind of narrowing down I don't want to have 6, 8, 10, 12, 15 rods. But this would be a definite way to go because you could get the whole Curado lineup. Like I said, you could probably even check with Rogers, or I'm sure you might be able to find them even cheaper than Tucker Warehouse or wait for a sale. But sometimes Shimano's known to not go in on the sale stuff, but you never know. But then as far as the reels go, and if those of you that already know the whole Shimano deal and the Curados, just in the Curado, they've got a 200 DC Curado. They've got a 150 DC Curado that I think you can still get. They've got the Curado 150 MGL. They've got the Curado 70. They've got the Curado BFS, which these are the same frame, just different internals to make one a BFS and one a very, for light stuff. They've got the 200K. They've even, if you want, you get one of the bigger, heavier rods, you can get a 300K. And I mean, you can just, everything could be Curado. You'd be done, right? You don't need to, nowhere else. So that's where, if there's really no other option unless you were full on steez, on the very bougie side of thing, to where you got the steez AGS rods and all steez reels, is about the only thing I could think of that really just goes to where there's so many different options of reels. And honestly, the steez doesn't give you that many different options of reels. Like the steez reels basically are the SVTW steez, the CT, and then the steez A, which is the same thing more or less, a few different spool things, but it's really not a different frame and whole different size reel than what's there. So I mean, you guys comment if you know of any other to where you could get that branding, the name, other than a Curado, where you could get the rod and reel and just fill up and have a whole different, combos that are totally going to do different stuff, from basically BFS fishing all the way to, swim baits and just crazy high end, on the upper end stuff. So anyway, that would be my main pick. But let's go back and I'll explain why. On the casting rods, honestly, my best pick overall, that I have not even bought any in a long time, is going to be this guy right here, Dobyns. Because, and I don't know, a lot of guys still swear by this warranty. I never had to use it. I bought my Dobyns and then I sold my Dobyns. I bought them used, and I sold them used, and they never broke. They did nothing but work just fine. I had the other generation before these that all of you see here now. It was the second gen. The first gen, there were some issues with some breakages, I heard. I never had any, but that was kind of the buzz going around the internet back in the day. But the main reason, not only they cover a bunch of stuff, but like just the entry level to the higher end. Now, if you want to get, if you're like me and you like the shorter rods, you're only going to be really limited to these Sierras, which is fine. These are good rods. You got the Ultra Finesse, which is for your BFS, Sierras, but then you can also go down and click on the, wherever they're at. Somewhere down here. Yeah, just the Sierra Series casting rods. And you have a lot of those options in basically 6'8", but you got a medium, medium heavy, and a heavy. But then you could go with the other end, and then the main reason I've always heard, and they've got a whole bunch from, everything. And then even though you're not in Sierra, you can still get Dobyns XP, HP, or whatever, and they're still very similar, a little bit of color difference. You could be like right there. Where? But like, if you do read the comments and all this and that, like, there's not much bad talk that I've ever really heard going around about the Dobyns, except for the very first. So, if you guys can read that, and I'm sorry, apologize for the deal. Limited lifetime warranty with $60 replacement fee. $60 replacement fee. So what I gather from that, and what I understand is, they pretty much, if you are willing to pay that price, it's almost like that says limited lifetime warranty. Like the Dobyns rods, they back them pretty good. Now, I'm not sure if you guys have ever tried this. Somebody could comment below. Like I said, I've never tried to even use any of warranty with the Dobyns rods. I had one, two, three or four back in the day. I had a HP 744, I believe. I had the 6.8, no, 604, no wait, 684 glass. I want to say I was my little bitty short cranking rod, and then I had the oh shoot, what did I have? 735C for jig rod. Actually, Lake Fork guys who had recommended those back in the day, he's got a little short video out talking about how he loved that for his jig rod, and I got one of those, and it was an awesome rod. But then I was like, that 744 was just too long for most stuff I was trying to do. I was even in my Ranger bass boat back in that day, and I'm like, this rod is too long. It was an awesome rod. Everything worked good about it. So that would be my pick. Just if you're wanting to jump into a actual lineup of, fairly affordable, 169 bucks. Of course, as they get some of the bigger ones are more money. And then real quick, if you're just used to looking on Tackle Warehouse on your phone at the rods, you really want to go on a computer and look, because what you can do, and from my understanding, everyone I've seen so far, if you click on this right here, for that model, that's going to show you the exact handle you're getting. Sometimes the ones that on your phone, it'll be just straight up and down. It isn't necessarily the exact handle that is coming with that size rod. But on here, you can go and click on those, and some of them will switch. And you kind of make out the different links. So let's just test that. Let's go back here. Casting rods. And we're not done. We just got started. So, and feel free if you got any questions other than how come you can't find a page on AliExpress. So let's just test this. I think these are in this thing where we can see them. I don't think I can zoom in on it maybe, but let's go with the Poison Adrenas. Now that is supposed to, that doesn't work. Maybe because they're all the same, they didn't worry about it. I thought that's what that's supposed to show you. Well, actually no. Let's go with, let's go back. Let's go to the bougie side of things. Let's go with the Megabass. Now that Super Destroyer should have a carbon fiber handle. Okay, carbon fiber, that's exactly what that rod is going to look like. It doesn't have a cork handle. This should have cork. Every other one should be cork. The Mad Bull, this one is going to have carbon fiber. Okay. And then all of these should be cork. And they should be, see how they'll get a longer, the butt. We used to call that fighting butt. X-bites and all those, so on and so forth, right? So it gives you a better idea. It's just, in my opinion, if I'm really serious about something before I make that buy, especially like with eBay or whatever. So anyway, let's talk, if I really had to go very cheap. So let's go with reels. If I had to go with cheap reels, I know we were on rods. Actually, let's go back with rods. We're on rods. Let's stick with rods for now. And then the rod sleeves, I do recommend. I need to hurry up and order me some of those. You can get those for, the more you buy, the cheaper they are, like $5 if you've never bought any rod socks, rod sleeves, whatever you want to call them. Now, as far as rods, I still have to say there's... let me see they don't have them here, but you can go to like Walmart, Bass Pro, and they have the Berkley Lightning rods. They're like 39 bucks, I think, or 49 now. But those rods, the Berkley Lightning rods, they work for that money. I mean, I've got a video out if you want to try to look it up. I think I was comparing one to my Megabass Shading X. about how the 6'6" medium Berkley lightning rod is so light on the tip, it's actually touches into the BFS, power BFS, or just finesse fishing with bait casting gear if you got the right reel on it. But the Berkley lightning rods are well worth that money in my opinion. If you're on a very, you're on an extreme budget, you want to get that, you could put whatever reel. That the one that comes to mind would be the Abu Garcia, whatever their cheapest bait caster reel out now is. Used to be the Black Max, but if it's the Max X or whatever they call it, you throw, they match up good together. Throw some red Power Pro braid on there, Vermilion red, call it a day, right? But I'm telling you, one of the cheapest good filling rods, it's on clearance right now. It may be not available in the, where's it at? Did they take it off? Right here. These are doing closeout on these Fate Blacks. I've heard, I have one. You guys have seen me, heard me talk about it. I've heard both Gene Jensen has some. Of course, he's sponsored by 13. But then Matt Allen was talking about the one I have, the size I have, he was using for his top water. I was using it for like everything. 6'7" medium. But these are on sale, clearing them out right now. They have the soft touch, real comfortable, real seat, but they've got a very good feel overall. Okay, that one, well, see, they're showing it like it's going to come back in stock. Now, how are you selling it out, close out, if it's coming back in? But they got 4 of the 6'7" medium heavies, 5. But if you just want one rod to just have, that looks like, I'm just telling you, those rods look, work, and feel pretty good. They've got a good look, action, like everything seems good. I've had mine over a year now, I think. No issue. I changed out. I put a cork handle. I kind of wish I'd left it alone now, but I don't know. I was in the mood. We were ordering cork handles off AliExpress. We had to do something with them. But that is a very good lineup. I have no idea about the newer. Where'd they go? And I want to say I thought those just came out. These here, so I don't know why they're closing out. What that is all about. So like everything 13 Fishing is on closeout or on sale almost. So I don't know if they're geared up for something different. What's going on with them? I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of a lot of other stuff. The Metas, I felt them up in person at Rogers. They do feel good. They don't. It's, if you guys don't know G-Man, Gerald Swindle, that's his little lineup. They just don't have enough, in my opinion, for the sizes I like. But that would be an option there. $150. They do feel pretty good. Real seats feel comfortable. I guess let's just click on it since I talked about it. So it's got a little bit of the kind of almost the same coloring as a Poison Adrena's, with a little bit of a like black, touch of silver, and then some red highlights. Metas. I'm just I just, something says no. Something about them say no to me. But you guys may like those. So let me look through here, see if anything else catches my eye that I try to remember to talk about. The Charles is into the Cashins. I myself am not a fan of them, even though I do watch John Cruz videos. I tried some of the Pro baits. I'm not a real big fan. The missile baits, I'm giving a shot on a few, but I'm just not a fan of that look, for one. I'm just not a fan. I don't know. Just not a fan. I would probably go Kistler route before I would go those. And we'll talk about those briefly, I guess, since I brought it up. Well, let's just jump down there. I'm skipping around. You guys, if you watch the channel, you know how I go. We jump all over. Kistler, back in the day, I forget what they had. They used to have a custom order thing. You could go to their site and kind of order a rod how you wanted it. But now they've kind of found out that everything people were ordering were kind of like this, which I like. That's foam right where you screw it on. They used to have like some of their rods, and most rods you'll find nowadays have like a hard plastic, little where you put your hand and then maybe a foam above it or something. But this is a good, actually good looking, working, functioning thing. And I don't know if I've ever really heard too many negatives about Kistler rods. So this would be an option for anybody wanting that, I think some of these are Japan blanks, and then one of these, the feeling reel, maybe, well, let me read it up first. One of these I thought was used on the Gary Loomis blanks. Okay, no, that one uses it's a hybrid Kistler carbon, S-glass, and 50% Japanese modulus. So that's kind of like a cranking type reel and fill, moving baits anyway. So not bottom contact stuff. That whole series right there. Which one? I don't know. I'm not going down that road because I have not done enough research on those, but I've never heard too many negative. I don't know if I've ever heard anything negative. Anybody I've ever known that's had those, they probably still fish them. So if you want to go Kistler, it would be an option. Lose, let's jump there since I've just spotted it. I tried a while back, and I did a video on the one of the combos, the mock whatever. They've got so many mocks and crushes and smashes and all that different stuff. I tell you a rod that does feel good if you're into wanting to look into start deep cranking, that new XD series they've got. They've got the 5, it says right on it, like right on the top side. Let me click on this one, see if this is the ones I'm talking about. That's not them. Where is it? Here it is, XD series. These actually look and feel good. They look good and they feel good. I've handled a few of them. They've got them up at Rogers. Yeah, so they go like 5, 6, 8, 10, you know, that many in the series, and they feel pretty good. I'm sure they'll get the job done. The Lose would be a brand if you wanted to stick with, you know, they've got a lot of different models that go around, but honestly, out of all of them, I felt if the KVD ones would have had, and I don't know why they didn't go with, I guess Kevin Van Dam doesn't like the wind grip material. I would have probably jumped on that line, got a few of it, but the EVA foam on these does feel cheap to me. The rods feel good. The overall handle assembly and all that, I'm just not a fan of the reel seat, and just no. It's a no for me. Just on that, if they would have switched it up. The rod that they have that actually I probably like better than any of the Lose right now because it looks good and that feels good right there. See how they've kind of went and they've added a little spacer instead of changing their reel seat. That's their original one, and they used to always have that up there. They've kind of added a little spacer on a couple of these different models, but I still feel right here they've lost me a little bit. A lot of reel seats I like this to be up further. It moves the reel further up and it doesn't feel like you're pinching like me, because I put that trigger right here and I have all 3 of these fingers up there, and that's kind of how I just fish. And a lot of these Lose reel seats just don't feel real great. But this rod, the whole setup and the rods themselves, they've got the, oh, whatever, that wave stuff on them. They're just like solid, kind of like that matte black look. Got a couple little gold highlights for like 129. These honestly feel as expensive, if not more, than that crazy expensive one. Now they only have 8 models, but I mean you could pretty much get the job done. You got 7.4 heavy, all the way down to a 6.8 medium, 6.10 medium heavy. I think the 6.10 medium heavy I almost bought up there. And you may even call them Rogers. At one time, everything they have Lose, rod and reels, was 20% off. If you guys are serious about wanting something Lose, you might call Rogers and see if they still got that deal going. Rogers Sporting Goods up Liberty, Missouri. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look them up. But none others really. The new Lose reels don't really speak to me. I've held them in hand, looked at the magnetic system. Where's the new rod at? Is that the new rod? Man, it just... Yeah, this thing in hand, it doesn't really impress me. Honestly, if that one I just showed you, the TP1 thing, feels just as good, as cool, and it's way cheaper. Like, I would have thought that would have felt lighter. That reminds me, and I didn't even comment it on the Dobyns, the high-end Ecstasy or whatever Dobyns. That rod does not impress me in hand. It may be an awesome rod out on the water and using it, but for over the price of a Megabass Destroyer, no thank you. It's a little too too heavy of a blank material for when you're spending that much money, in my opinion. I'd rather just deal with the Sierras. All right, hang on. Let me check. Anybody ask a question? Uh-oh, here we go. People are talking. Hang on. Yeah, where you at, Eugene? You didn't watch my live stream? Not only did I get it, I went out fishing with it, and tonight, that's another thing. Tonight, after I get done here, I'm going to try to edit that footage. I'm going to show you me fishing that, how many fish and how many different baits I caught on the one day that I've used the Poison Adrena. I got the 611 medium plus. And so far that rod's awesome. Like, I only got one day on it, so I can't go like nuts and like it's the greatest rod in the world, but I think it'll cover, I don't think, I know it'll cover tons of different applications, and it's an awesome rod. Now, while I'm thinking of it, because you guys, there's been a couple of you recommending me this one. Nate says you can slap a wind grip on any rod for $25. The KVD cranking rod is good. Yeah, that's what I said. They feel good. I'm sure I'm like looking at them. I'm like, man, these would be good. And I actually kind of like the look of the reel too, but I don't like the shape of the reel. If you guys know what I'm talking about, the older Lew's, some of the newer ones are starting to give it that little indent on the top like I like. You know how I am. I'm picky. Like when you put your thumb up there, I'm like, yeah, I could probably be okay, but yeah. But yeah, the Kevin Van Dam, I guess we should run back there real quick. And then I'm going to talk about one other thing. If you're a fan of Kevin Van Dam, a fan of Maroon, or a fan of Lew's, then yeah, if you wanted to go the full lineup, it would be an option. Like Nate was saying, you can, there's like this sleeve or something you can get and slap if you want to wind grip, or if you like this EVA. But my opinion, that EVA stuff, and that's probably why they did it, to keep them down to only 109 bucks. It's the cheapest way they could do it. That is a very cheap reel seat. That is a very cheap EVA foam stuff they use. It doesn't look bad here, but honestly, in person, I don't like it. I just don't like the feel. And I don't like the feel. It looks like it would feel good, but it's like, in my opinion, it's opened up too much. But like it says right on them what they're for. They're marked and all that. So this would be an option. The ones I felt in hand felt good, and it's hard to beat that price. They will 100% go out there. Oh, we didn't even click on that. Those were the cranking ones. Let's just see what he's got on the... If you guys aren't familiar with this, you've got 10 models of the regular. 6'8 medium heavy, 6'10, 7 foot, 7'4, 7'6 heavy, 7'6 extra heavy, 7'10 heavy. So yeah, you got that higher end up there down to... yeah, you only got a 7 foot medium. You don't have all the 6'8's a medium heavy and the 6'10". That's just in the regular graphite. Then over here on the cranking, which is going to be a composite graphite and glass. What do we have? 6 models there. 6'8 medium light, 7 foot medium, 7'1, 7'4, 7'4 heavy, and medium heavy, 7'10 medium. That 7'10 medium will sling some little baits out there, I bet. So yeah, that would be an option for you guys, and I'm going to jump back and then back and forth. Oh man, I went the wrong way. Because if you go to the, if you guys don't know, might as well cover this whole thing. And while we're here, we're going to look at the KVD one, but we'll look at all of what Lew's has to offer in the reels department. So there, the KVD reel that matches up excellent to the rod. It's made to match up exactly to it. This reel does look, and it's going to work good, because this reel, the Carbon Light 2.0, a few other Lew's, probably a couple of, I think, other Bass Pro shops, are made by the same factory, have the same braking system. They got the dual. They've got the magnet and the centrifugal little pins that pop in and out. So I know the Carbon Light 2.0 I've had, the ones Matt has, they cast very well for the price of what they are. Very good casting reels. Now, how long will they last you? I don't know, because mine blew up on me the first weekend out fishing. I think it was a fluke, honestly. I think it was just like this Wizard rod that I took out of the package, you know, unboxed it and bent it, and it broke, honestly. So, should be very good. So there, they're having a sale right there, guys. The Mock Crush. That is I like this reel palming better because I tried them up there. This reel palms, in my opinion, better than that KVD or any of the older ones, because you see how it's got this is a flatter, where the way I palm my thumb needs to be setting up here, and I don't need all these distractions. On some of the newer, the Daiwa Alphas, Salamandura, and some of those with the smaller frames, that actual T-wing, when it's going back and forth, it's such a small frame, it hits my thumb. I gotta like concentrate, put my thumb out of the way. That's why I got rid of those. They were almost too small. Like they need to change that up or something, or not. But this reel actually feels and works very good. I think it's got the same, but it may be a cheaper braking system. I can't remember what it's got. But it's on sale, $129. I think that's what you could get it for, Rogers. But it's only got 7.5 to 1 left and right. And they do sell that in a combo. If you're just starting out and you're like, I don't want a separate rod reel, I want a good combo. I like it way better than this one. And this one's not bad, but I don't like those paddles. You'd have to. And Bones, I got had this. If you guys remember right, he had one. He still has it, I think. But he had switched out to the black knobs like that. I've had the older ones. I had the custom light, the older custom light. They have a tournament light here, but I had the older custom light. I've had several Lew's over the years. Custom Pro Speed Spool, like, I wanted to try the new one. I mean, I could have got it for 400 bucks, but I didn't want to feel like I might be wasting my money and take my chance on that braking system. If you guys don't know, these two reels look alike. The Pro TI and the Elite TI are different. This has a different braking system than that reel. It's not the same braking system. So I almost bought this one. I could have got it for like $340 something, and then I took this thing off and looked. I'm like, it didn't even have the new magnetic braking system like that one. It's like centrifugal, almost like the old, which I had, the Abu Garcia MG Extreme 2. It's sort of like that. I mean, it's going to be good, but I was like, no, thank you. These handles are awesome, thanks to Crazy Lou's lady that sent me the handle assembly. Just by asking for it. Thank you, Crazy Lou's lady. I don't know what her name was. She's not crazy. She just, I guess, didn't understand what I was asking. So, I wanted to bring up one other one for 100% sure, and then I myself, we're on. Let's go back to rods. Casting rods. Two more, and then I'm not forgetting about you guys. A lot of you guys have been recommending a rod to me, and I'm going to get to it. So we're jumping around, I know. Now, there is a new Tatula rod out that all the pros, have you guys seen that one? It's basically like each individual, it's like a series, right? The Tatula, but in the lineup, there's like each individual pro staffer had their say in the rod, so it could be different, and that's where I think we're going to utilize this thing of clicking on it. So they got the Elite casting cranking. I think these are their new ones. Let's go with the casting real quick. 189, that sounds right. Now I've handled these. That reel seat feels awesome. The rods look better than the other Tatula Elites. I don't know if I can make myself like any more Tatula rods than the other one though. So let's just click on this and look real quick. But that reel seat, if you kind of look at it, it's got like weird humps here and there, but it just feels comfortable. The foam, I think it feels a little, it's kind of like, honestly, it's kind of like the KVD one on Lew's. I'm not a huge fan, but it does feel good with that. That is a good feeling in hand assembly. And the rod, I can't remember which one I was holding now. I'll show it to you if I can spot it when I get to it. but it felt good. Like it was a 7-foot, medium, maybe moderate. So it felt probably a little better than my Carbon Light 2.0, to be honest. But it is a little more money, like by 70 bucks. So they have 18 model options. Okay, that's a lot. So they don't have his in there yet. So if you click on those, it'll show you. Now, some of these have, they don't have them all on here. Some of these will have, I think, full EVA. Some will be cork, full cork. They went by what the guy that they made them for. Hang on, let me open them all up. Let me open them all up, and then we'll look at just briefly. Yeah, see, there's a full long one. There's one. There's a cork one. So this is one of them. Like, you could get the whole lineup, but then your rods may all end up looking kind of different, being in the exact same lineup. So that one's cork. So we'll open up all the ones that come with it just to go through it real quick. I think that's all of them. Okay, so let's start down at the bottom. Where did I go? What happened? How did I get out of that? Are you kidding me? I just opened all those up and it shut them, every one of them on me. I'm not going... Dude, that is ridiculous. Let's do one at a time then. So, Ish Monroe, I take it. Crazy 8-foot heavy. Who fishes with 8-foot rods? Ish Monroe. Another one, 8-foot. Walters, I don't even know who that is, but I don't follow like I used to, I guess. That would be a... I would love to have that handle assembly on some rods under 7 foot. Probably not going to happen, but oh well. Cody Meyer, right? Is that who that is? I think I know that name. Another Monroe. Johnston, which John? Randy? I don't know. 7'5". Randy Howell. Monroe again. So yeah. The reel seat, the rod blank, all that material seems good. Honestly, for Tatulas, I feel have always been overpriced, and that's just me because I know that they're under the zillions and they're, you know, they're, I don't know. I've never been, you guys, I'm not going to like beat around the bush. I've never been a Tatula fan. I've had the one rod I liked. The one reel isn't horrible, but just not, I could not get myself to be a Tatula fan. Just never did. Sorry, guys. I like the older stuff, but not a Tatula. Just not a Tatula fan. But a lot of guys, they love them. They're the best selling reel around, I think. I'd rather spend extra money myself and get either the Zillion, the OG Zillion that looks just like, shaped as the old Tatula CT, or I would just get a used one, and probably about the same price you could get a new Tatula, and you got it's just a little better feel. It just feels a touch freer and just feels better. The Steez, I've never really been a fan of the Steez rod styling either, especially for how crazy price they are. Like, for that money, I'll just go straight Megabass. But if you guys are bougie and you want to go all Steez, reels, rods, I love the reels, but I think it's like every time they change the Steez, reels, and rods, they're always off kilter from what the look they're going for. And in all honesty, that reminds me of a cheapened version of one of the Shimano reel seats. I'll be honest. I can't remember which one I'm trying to think of, but I just look at that. It just screams cheap. It just screams cheap out. And then maybe it looks better in person, because I don't think I've yet seen one of these in person. I'm sure that's the same reel seat that the new Tatulas have, so that is probably going to be comfortable as heck. But that, I don't know, something about that matte black with the red highlighted, that just speaks cheap to me. If you guys look, and we're going to be looking at a Megabass one, styling just 100 times better than like right there on that locking nut deal. Now the rest of the rod, like, it looks good, but you're talking a lot more money for what I feel isn't as good of looking. But that right there, see how it humps up there? It's the same, like the Tatula in hand is going to feel like this. Now it's going to be a lot more tip heavy. If I got a little heavier blank material, not as near as sensitive. But honestly, if you use braid, you're probably not going to lose anything on these higher end rods. I'll be honest. I've had the NRX rods, and you put fluoro on an NRX rod, you can give me a Berkley lightning rod with braid on it. I can feel the bottom better than you can. Just telling you. Been there, done that. Now I'm not knocking them. They're awesome rods. All these higher end ones usually have a lot better blank material. But let's just go since I was comparing them. Oh wait, you know what I wanted to do? Backtrack. Before I say too much knocking the Steez AGS, let me look at something. Because I never did check. Where'd they go? Did I pass them? And you guys comment if you know what sort of warranty they have. Okay, limited 5 year. Now it says limited. I don't know what that means. So 5 years, the Megabass has 3. So you do get a couple more year warranty. But in all honesty, if the rod is good, it's going to break in the first month of using it. If you jack it up, then, but you know, I see where, just like the Dobyns, you know, like a kind of almost like a no questions asked. But so 5 years, so yeah, I see that you get more of a warranty if they just made the suckers look better, and it's just right there. I may try one. I'm not going to try one as long as they look like that. Because let's just go full bougie, right? Now some would say the NRX or the Conquest are far superior and the better pick over Megabass, and you probably might be right on sensitivity. But styling, nobody can touch, in my opinion, for the last, I don't know how many years, Megabass. And just some of the, just the looks department. But like nobody can argue that they don't make awesome blanks. Like I had the Destroyer X7. That was my last 3 Megabass rods that I had. The X7 lineup, man, those rods just worked, felt good. Had no issues with the 3 that I owned. So yeah, just look at this thing. Like just look at the styling of it. It just has a, now the Court is probably not as good. But like if you go with the, like I'm thinking about getting the Super Destroyer, has a carbon here, I kind of avoid that. But yeah, you can see like some of these with the filler. But the overall styling of the rod, I feel, is just, I don't know, I like them overall looks than the Steez. Now it says you don't go, and I'm not sure if Tackle Warehouse warranties anything, or you probably have to go through the rod manufacturer. I don't know for sure. The only one I've ever done before, I did a fly rod, Loomis fly rod, and I went through Loomis, and it was no hassle. Problem was the rod they made that I loved, the GL series, they didn't make anymore, and they sent me the new one, the GL3 or something. It went from a black rod to a green rod, and it was horrible compared to the old rod, in my opinion. I felt it was a touch heavier. It may have been more durable or whatever, but it just, I didn't like it. So, did they say the warranty? Somewhere it's like a 3-year warranty. So, yeah. If the rod I'm thinking about getting is this one. The new P5 lineup is supposed to be a little more, not as stiff down in the, you know, midsection of the rod. It has a little more forgiveness in it, kind of thing. I'm just tempted to get one to try, but I should talk myself out of it. So I got 2 more I want to get in here, and then we'll look at some just reels only. And I wanted to jump to AliExpress also real quick. So I told you guys this is going to be a long video. So back to Shimano. In all honesty, the lineup that I may just go ahead and jump on would be one of 2. Because I can't do it here new, but I can go to eBay and I can get almost any Poison Adrena rod I would want. They actually make some 6'3" BFS rods and other stuff, but you can go through the hookup tackle And you can get the Expride, has some BFS rods also, but the same reel seat is on that I like on the Poison Adrena is on these Exprides, and I've heard nothing but good about these Exprides. Brew Tank just picked up the 6'10" medium after the Matt Allen from Tactical Bassin talked him into it. Good thing I didn't talk him into that. He won't be able to blame me for making him spend money. But here, kind of the same thing. I could jump in if I'm the short rod guy. I got a 6'10" medium glass, 6'10" medium, 6'10" heavy. That'll cover a wide range, and I could jump down with the BFF. The only thing, they don't really make a under 7 foot heavy, but they do make a 7 foot heavy. But you could actually get fairly short, and I have the 7 foot medium moderate carbon light, so it's not the end of the world if that's the way I went. But these have soft touch, that perfection reel seat or whatever, cork, but then with the monocoque, so sensitivity. The thing I like, which I've always liked about my Destroyer X7, and some of these rods I've been getting from AliExpress, the contest, what I was hoping I'd like on the Wizard, but I broke one, are how they have that actually woven stuff all the way up to blank. Now, I kind of like a few styling things on the old one though. The older X Pride had, this was actually had like a little layer of epoxy, you know, just a clear coating over it. And it kind of just, I don't know. I guess it's just a matter of personal preference, but it almost like it would protect it more. But these are pretty tough because what'll happen is if like this gets a bump or something, usually it's on that outer thing and it's not even affecting the main part of the blanket itself. So these should have, like basically what I could do, I'll just show you what I'm thinking. Here's where my mind's at. Let me just think out loud. I've already got the medium plus. Okay, so I could get the medium glass, but they also make a medium glass in the Adrena, and they make a 6'10" medium. I don't think, they do not make a 6'10" medium heavy. As far as I know, you guys comment, maybe they do JDM only, that I haven't seen yet, in the Poison Adrena. So if I wanted to get a bunch of different ones in the Adrena, I would actually have to do some searching around. But I kind of like the idea if I just have it, as it covers more than these do, but then if I wanted to, you know, basically I could cover everything. With the 6'10" medium heavy, that's, I'll throw half-ounce jigs with that all day long. I just yank real hard, right? Now these only come with a 1-year limited warranty. So really you'd have to like these a lot better than say the Dobyns to not go with Gary Dobyns rods. But I think I've handled them, I've held them in hand. The overall, the reel seats, I definitely like this as a more comfortable feel. I can't tell you about sensitivity, but like I said, though I use braid, it's not as important to me. The overall action feel of it, how that I can, you know, cast and work a bait is more important than overall sensitivity since I do use braid. And I only really ever use one rod for sort of bottom. Like, I don't know, I feel with the braid, I've got, that kind of Teton is one of the least sensitive rods you'll ever own, but with braid on it, man, I use it on a shaky head, like, it's awesome. So when it comes to all these, I don't really, it's hard, it may sound funny, but when you're braid fisherman, everything you throw is braid to a leader. Sensitivity is one of the least deals on the rods. Like the overall durability, looks, fit, finish, the actions of it, what it'll do, how wide a range it can handle stuff and feel good doing, over the most sensitive rod in the world kind of deal. So there's a lot of you guys been recommending this next one. I'm going to jump to it, and then we're going to go to reels before I forget about it. So we just got to look at it. Phoenix rods. I had at least 1, 2 to 4 guys like comment, and then, you know, somebody recommended it, and then a couple guys jumped on second and third at it. Now, nobody I've heard mention the Phoenix M1 casting rods. Back when these first come out, I almost bought like 1 or 5, but I didn't. Because they make a, I think they have several, but they're not real short, a majority of them. So here, that's a 2-piece. We don't want that. I mean, some of you guys, maybe they make a feather, Phoenix feather casting rod, 2-piece there, for $159 to $199. But then they make just a regular ones, right? So let's click on that. I've had several people, and your names are eluding me at the moment, so sorry. But these do look cool. The only downside that it looks like that is way too long. They've got it like where you can have a hook keeper. it probably doesn't affect or bother you in any way, but that is like the longest one I think I've ever seen on a rod. Why didn't it get bigger? It got smaller. Let's X out of that. That thing got like... Oh my god, quit clicking on it. So these Phoenix feathers, Phoenix FTX series feather, 6'9" medium heavy right there. Now my understanding, and I've had more than one person say this, they have 9 model options in these feathers, and they're all slightly even lighter than what they say they are. They're like the opposite. If you guys remember right after the contest ones, they say medium light, and I call them heavier than what they're rated. These they say go the other way. So I could only guess that, and they said this 6'9" medium heavy, and I forget your name, but you said this is like your favorite jerkbait rod. It's like favorite overall. Has a zillion SV on it, and it's a very good rod. So I'm guessing, and it says right there, 1/4 to 3/4. That's basically what most jerkbait rods say anyway, but they're rating it as a medium heavy. So it's more like a medium kind of deal, right? The light says 1/8 to 3/8. It's possibly even lighter than that, like a 1/16 to 3/8. I don't know for sure, but they've got 7.1 medium light, 7.1 medium heavy, 7.1 heavy. The medium heavy is probably also more like a medium, and the 7.1 7.1 heavy is probably more like a medium heavy. Then they have 7.3 extra heavy, which is probably just like a heavy. But they're still the full lineup. If you don't care how the length of the rods, those would definitely cover you in BFS. You know, for bass BFS anyway. You're not going to go creek and stream fishing, maybe not. But I've had several people claim that these are very light, overall sensitive, and haven't had any issues with them. And the styling looks good. It's kind of that blacked out. You got a little touch of pressed cork there, a little touch of carbon fiber to extend that a little bit, and the reel seat has that like minimalistic all cut out, which is sort of like the ones I like. I mean, I'm sure this rod would probably feel good, but for me, it's only got one I would want, the 6'9". The 7.1s and those, if you guys remember, I just bought that loose 7'2". I just don't, I'm carrying my rods in and out, like every time I load them in and out of my boat, I got to carry them around. I go fishing with Charles. We got them stacked around. I got one Matt, whether it been his bass boat or a pontoon boat. Just the longer the rod, the more of a hassle in maneuvering and honestly chance of breaking something off from them sticking out somewhere kind of thing. So I try to stick to that under 7 foot. I've got one right at the moment that is over, it's 7 foot, and then the 6'11". So I will go to 7 foot, but I try to stick under it if I can. So let's go to reels. Let me read. Hang on. Let's take a break. We're almost an hour in. No excuse, Eugene. You've been sick. If you're laying in bed, you can watch Bass and Bonsai videos on your phone, Eugene. Eddie says he had a Shimano Expride breakaway the first time I fished it. But it was after... Oh, he's saying he bought one and it took a few months before he got out on the water with it and it broke right off, and Tackle Warehouse took care of him with shipping and everything. So that's good to know. Brew Tank. Have you even fished that thing, Brew Tank? Brew Tank says Expride is awesome. He likes the way it feels. I don't know if he's even fished it yet, though. But Eddie says the Exprides are awesome. He has a 6'10", medium, 7 foot medium glass, and a 7.2 medium heavy. Chicken fried steak checking in. Hello, everyone. Happy trip, cats. I think chicken fried steak's eating something more than chicken fried steak. Just my thoughts. Phoenix feathers are very nice rod, especially 6'9" medium heavy. I know Eddie keeps trying to talk me into buying one. Hey, you're not tactical bassing. You can't talk me into spending money. Yeah, Phoenix makes shorter rods, but not in the feather series. So yeah, the classic release. Let's go to reels real quick, and if you guys got any questions about rods before I get out of here, put them up there. I'm literally on the fence of, first of all, I don't need anything else. Even that Wizard, if you guys don't know, check out the video that dropped today. I managed to catch like a 4 pound plus on the Wizard, even though the 6'8" medium broke unboxing it. The 6'10" medium heavy, I think it's gonna work. I put the Zillion 10 on it, matches up cool. I put the drag clicker in it. I still got to work on a better handle. I just stuck that one on and off one of my other reels just so I could get out there and have a cork handle or knobs. So it's a little short 80 millimeter. That's not definitely not going to stay. It's going to have at least a 90. I'm thinking about putting just for now putting that crazy Lew's lady handle on it from Lew's. But I think I'm going to put thicker cork, longer cork ones on it. But anyway, I don't really need any other rods. I'll be honest. I've got 2 carbon lights. I got rid of the heavy and the other carbon light. I've got the 7-foot medium moderate and the 6'9" medium heavy for my moving. Like, it handles almost everything in the general moving bait stuff. And then the Poison Adrena I just got will go a little bit lighter, maybe that 7-foot medium moderate, even though it's a medium plus. It's just the way it's feels. It's easier to. It's a lighter rod. It's easier to like cast. It's hard to explain. The Wizard I got now, I still have the Fate Black, and this didn't even count BFS stuff. Then I've still got the Contest in the medium light that is honestly more like a medium. Still my favorite jerkbait rod. That is a good jerkbait rod, probably even a touch over the Poison Adrena. Just because it's a little shorter and it's a little, it just, I don't know, I think. But I had no issues with the Adrena. I fished it for a lot on the jerkbait Sunday. I fished the Contest longer on Saturday. I have no issues in my wrist, and I caught probably 40 plus fish on jerkbait, and either one of those I think will be fine. I was using a Vision 110 plus 1 Junior, smaller hooks than a 110, so I have no issues with either one of those rods working. It should be fine. And I caught them on other ones too. But anyway, and then I still have my Teton and the Feeling, which is a contest rod that kind of can dip in there. They'll throw the shaky head. You can throw smaller cranks that you would normally throw spinning gear for bass. So I'm really actually covered. I really don't need anything else. But what I'm thinking about doing is jumping in and getting a couple more of the Exprides, selling off some of these other whatever I have. What I would like to try to do, see that number? I'm going to leave BFS fishing out of it, like ultralight BFS, creek, stream, small bass, very small water, for bass, trout, crappie, all that stuff out. For bass fishing, I'd like to try to narrow it down to 3 rod and reel combos. Just to grab 3 rod and reels, go fishing by myself, go fishing with Matt, Charles, anybody else that invites me. Go fishing with 3 rod and reel combos that can cover it all. And I'll be honest, this Poison Adrena can cover a lot, but it can't cover that heavy. Like, it's going to be pushing it, once you got those bigger, what they call gaff of a hook type thing on certain jigs, and then going super light. Actually, it'll probably throw anything as light as I want to go, like the 1.0s and like the Vision 110 plus 1. It'll throw the little finesse jigs. I was throwing TRD. It'll throw a 16th ounce with the TRD on it. So it will really go that low. So I'm thinking if I have it's right in the middle. It'll cover all that. But if I had a 6-foot, whatever, 8 or 10 medium, I could go even a little lower. And then also have a jerkbait rod and an all-around whatever rod. Then the Adrena could fill in. But then I could also have I'm thinking I want something to throw the heavier end, but can also dip down. Maybe not go down to a jerkbait rod or a 1.0. Definitely isn't going to be capable of throwing small, light wire 2/0 shaky heads or TRD type stuff, but can go down low also. That way, if just say for something went out of one of those 3, if I'm only taking 3 and one gave out on me, something say the rod broke, the reel jammed up, I can still cover all of the baits I want to fish. because I was out the other day. I took all whatever I had rigged up, 7 rods yesterday. I looked down. I only took the rod or the reel socks off of 3, and I honestly could have fished everything I was using and working and trying with the Adrena, other than maybe the Wizard rod and the Zillion 10 I was using for that jig we just picked up, the Croco Gators, and it would have been tough. That thing's got a pretty big hook on it. But I could have just kept fishing that finesse peanut butter and jelly, and possibly even caught that same bass, would have hit that jig. It's not that much different than the Croco Gator, same color, same trailer, roughly. So it's like one of those things, especially when you're going and you feel cramped already, and so I'm kind of trying to get. I would like the idea of having a full lineup for myself, but really, do I need it? And where am I going to put it? And how am I going to take it fishing with me every time I go? You guys have seen me in my little 2-man bass boat. I literally can't move because I got all 8 or 9 rod and reel combos out across the boat fishing them, or same thing on Charles's boat. So anyway, let's go to casting reels. And I'm just going to go through here and tell you that I hardly buy anything. I don't know when the last time I bought a reel from these guys, because I go to Digitaka and get some of the higher end stuff. Dobyns makes reels, and I wouldn't, dude, any of these good rod makers that have these reels, and somebody's going to go, oh, but this is good, dude, they're junk. Cast King, not me, not for me. Kistler makes reels, no thank you. Lose, yes. Mock, I don't know, never even heard of that, so I'm not even going to go to those. Abu Garcia, yes, but me, I'm not a fan, I'll be honest. I've palmed all of these, I've seen them in person. They don't look good to me, they don't feel good, nothing about these reels appeals to me. Some of you guys may be Abu guys, and I used to be back in the day. The original Revos, Gen 1 and 2, loved those reels. That's what the Aurora is. The first, I don't even know if they got them in here anymore. Hang on a second. No, I guess they don't even call it that anymore. They have those huge honking gearboxes, and just overall styling I don't like. But the MGX, the first MGX, the MGX Extreme, the MGX Extreme 2, and all the JDM ones that were out, I liked. I had those. Everything they've been shipping over here, honestly, to the United States since the Gen 2, I feel is just not good. I'd rather have a Black Max. And that's just my opinion. This Max X right here, I would probably have over all these other ones. You know me, I'd switch out that handle, probably the drag star too. I think Charles has one of these. I think Charles has already a BFS one of these out, and it works pretty good. But for 59 bucks, it palms better. I think it was, Charles let me feel his. These, and where are they at? Where's that crazy? These crazy high dollar ones, and this one I think comes with the drag clicker, MGX. LXT May. I think I've palmed that one. I don't think I've actually held that one in hand. The side plate on these bothers me. Like I palm the way I palm when I put these. This thing, see that right there? Let me look at the side. See how far that sticks out? That annoys the crap out of me. I was hoping I would like these. They look cool when you first look at them, but I am just not a fan. I'd rather have that Mock Crush in the orange one than all these Abu Garcias, honestly. I feel, and somebody I know, I'm going to get some hate for this, but I feel that Abu Garcia used to be up here, and Luz was down here. They were sucking up the leftovers, and basically same company was making the reels for those guys. But somewhere something happened, and I think they went the other way. I think in the United States for sure that there's just I don't know. I would pick Luz reels over these Abu Garcias if I had to pick one or the other. And back in the day, I would have picked Gen 1 or 2 Revos over anything Luz. But I think it's reversed. I think it's went the other way. So Dobyns makes, really, dude, that is a pile of crap. That is an AliExpress pile of junk. You can get that reel on AliExpress for like 30 bucks. No lie. I'm not trying to dog Dobyns. They make awesome rods. That reel sucks. It is not. $100? No thank you, Gary. No thank you, sir. May not have another. Let's keep going. So 13 fishing. Actually, these 13, I've had several 13 fishings. I'm not a fan of these newest ones, and I feel 13 got stuck in a limbo. I don't think any of their reels have progressed from their very first generations that has come out. Just my opinion. I think they still make pretty decent reels for the, but honestly, for the money, look at that. I would rather have the first generation over these A2 things or whatever. And some of these, I think one of these is like a swim bait, bigger one, but $179. I had high hopes for 13 fishing when these first. I've had the white one, the Concept C, the original, and the A. I had a couple of the black ones. I had the one, white one. The horrible, if they're still made that way, I don't know. But like you take that off and that spring gets lost for the clicker part on this drag star. They don't have drag clickers. They just, in my opinion, they're stuck in. Maybe there's a market and they're selling reels or something, but I don't think. I was hoping you'd see them battling with Shimano and Daiwa maybe in the future, because in my opinion, it was very close to a Curado 50E. That the Aldebaran 50 size is what these started out as, and it's almost like somebody could have taken, not an exact copy. Is this thing blurry now? Not an exact copy, but they definitely, were thinking about that, had that size in mind, but nope, no thank you. Ardent, no. So Daiwa, right here, this dude, and I hate to like really knock Tackle Warehouse, but why they've raised the price so much on the stuff that comes over, when for $369 you can go to Digitalk and pick that reel up for $240 or $250 all day long. No warranty, but I don't think you'll need a warranty. Like if you don't crank the drag, if you crank the drag down tight and you're all worried about drag numbers, you probably ought to be over there in Abu Garcia's that have the 24 pounds of drag and all that. But that reel is very awesome. I think it may come with brass gears here, so if that's a thing, you maybe spend the money, more money, but I'm more than happy getting the two that I've gotten from Digitalk. I went ahead and sold Matt one. He's using it, no issues. And when I have no issues, I've dunked mine in the water like several times. And then this crazy reel, holy shit. $650 for an aluminum Steez. Get out of here. Get out of here. I love Steez reels. My limiteds are awesome, but you'll never catch me spend $650 for an aluminum Steez. The Steez came out because they were very refined and they were made out of magnesium. Then everybody thought magnesium, I guess, is weak, so they need to make them out of aluminum, which is actually, I think they originally, or the reason you'd want some aluminum over magnesium is basically due to be able to put it in salt water, if you ask me, in my opinion. So that is ridiculous, if you ask me. I have the HLC. I kind of wish I wouldn't have given $400 for that pile of crap. But I kind of fixed it, and it does work good, and it's a Steez, and it's very refined, but I probably won't buy any more aluminum frame Steezes, just if you guys want my opinion. I'll spend the extra little money, get the magnesium ones. They're way lighter. You can balance the rod better with them by adding a little weight on the back of the rod instead of having it up in the rod, because you can get a Steez SV2W for $550, $100 cheaper. In my opinion, way better deal. Shoot, I'd rather buy a Tatula over for $100, before I buy $650 for an aluminum Steez, because they're heavy. I think they're heavier. Like, in all honesty, guys, I'm not trying to dog the aluminum Steez. A lot of you guys love those, but they added the hyperdrive and the boost, right? But this Zillion right here, this reel right here, and that reel right there, you're not getting anything any better, in my opinion. This reel actually is, I think, lighter. That reel right there is lighter and way cheaper. Look at that price. Even expensive as it is there, $369 to $650. Like, you're talking almost $300 cheaper. And trust me, go buy 2 of those, spread them out on different stuff, and they're missing 2 bearings. I think they're missing 1 in each part of the handle, but the main 2 bearings they're missing. One of mine didn't even need. I still to this day, I think it's the one I have. I don't think it's the one I sold Matt. I think I sold Matt the newer one. I put bearings in it. 2 cheap bearings, doesn't take much, and then it feels heavier than my Steez Limited, but it feels almost as refined. Right here, there's a little play. If you pull on the handle out, it's got a little play compared to the Steez, but very awesome reels. Still my pick. It's not the best reel made, but for the money, for the best reel, like, basically, that you can't beat that. That New Zealand is 100% legit. What other stuff here? I don't know about the CTs. I'm afraid to spend that much money and think that I won't like them, just like the Alphas. Look, the old Steez is only $499. You're telling me you added $150 just because you changed the gears? You can call it whatever you want, hyperdrive. You just upgraded the gears in it. The old gears worked fine. Most people that own these can tell you the old gears, they worked. Does it feel that much better? The boost does, I feel, help. Does it help $150 worth? Probably not. Like, I feel if you need a spool for one, like if your spool were to goof up for some reason, you'd be better off to buy a SV boost or a boost spool in general, whether it be for the replacement, I would get boost over the standard. But I don't know if I could justify spending $100 for a spool if the boost is that big of a difference. I think it's a touch different, but I don't know if I would spend. I still have yet to buy one because all mine, nothing needs a spool. So yeah. Love the Steez reels, but kind of, in all honesty, getting outrageous on the price of them. So I checked for used ones. Check on Digitaka, just like the Zillion 10 right here. This reel so far is awesome, but I got one on AliExpress, and I'm almost thinking that maybe I got one. I mean, the colors are there, but most pics I see, mine's not as bright as the blue. It's almost more purpley, which some people may like that. I myself, it looks good. Matches up good with the Wizard. So while I'm talking about that, let's just go there. Now, remember, some of you would say it's well worth the extra money for a warranty, which I understand that, and that's fine. But see, there's a new Steez A right there. They have it. So if you don't know about Digitaka, they are legit. You may click on them and go, dude, for that price there, that's they're going to mess me up site. They're trying out to get me. No, it's legit. I bought most all of my, both Zillions, I bought 3 Steez reels there now. I've spent way too much money here, but. So the limit breaker, is it out yet? I don't think it's out yet. Nope, no stock. So this limit breaker is going to be, here's a right-handed one. If you get it through here, you could also get it through the hookup, or the hookup tackle is going to also carry these. They're going to be charging you more money, but they will also, they'll probably be charging you that price converted over to or be adding to they'll probably be doing catalog, or I don't know what they'll be doing. I hate to speak for them, but I'm sure will give some sort of warranty. If something happens, they'll help you get parts or whatever. To where this one, you might be in limbo, but it's going to be $899. It'll be roughly $950 for this reel. I will not be buying this reel. It's a heavier duty, but I could buy this reel. I could get one of those 8-foot Shimano rods, get one of those DRT handles. You guys know about DRT handles? We might jump on that here in a second, just to blow some of you guys' minds on that like the cheaper stuff. So let's go with, if you guys remember, I bought the Steez A. Well, here's the Steez A. I bought the HLC. So they still have some in. Here's a right-handed. I always get the extra high just because I feel like they sell better. So for $384, you're going to have to add tax, and there's other added prices to that. So just over 400 and something, you can get that reel. But it doesn't really show you the weight of this one. And let me show you. Let me go and show you just so you can see. Let's just look at weight. We're going to look at, here's the one I bought. HLC, they still have these also. You can still get these. I bought the high speed. Yeah, I bought the high speed. I always buy the high speed, but let's look at the weight. So 190 grams. So an aluminum steez is heavy. Let's go down to not the Zillion 10, the Zillion SVTW. Extra high. They got those in also. They did raise the price. I noticed that everything's went up a little bit. So, but like 275. So about just over $100 off. You could get that here, but where's it at? 175 grams. So you're dealing with a lighter reel. If you get one from here, I think if you get one with the brass gears, not aluminum, from Tackle Warehouse, it will be heavier. Maybe about the same weight. But it's not like you're buying some huge honking heavy reel compared to a Steez A. You're not. They're like lighter, which is crazy that the Steez A is that much more money. So the other day, and this reel is supposed to be here tomorrow. I bought this one, and there's no stock. They got one lefty or a couple lefties or whatever left, I guess. But I just happened to pop on there, and they had this. And so I want to say it was cheaper. I don't know. I can't remember what I gave for it. It wasn't crazy, like it's crazy high, but oh well. So they are 160 grams. So they're only 15 grams lighter than the. But you can feel that weight difference in what the Zillion is. And what's weird is they feel like even lighter than that. I say it said it was 175, and then the A is 190, so 30 grams. So it's an ounce lighter than the aluminum one, and it's only a half. Is that right? Just over a half ounce lighter than the Zillion. But I would swear that they feel way lighter over the Zillion, and the Zillion feels about the same as my HLC. So let's look and see when, if you guys want to talk about reels. If you're wanting, I've been through them all. Here's the new one, if you guys don't know, that will be coming out. SS Air TW. It's kind of on the Steez CT platform or the Steez Air platform, but then they got a different braking setup, right? I almost pulled the trigger and bought a Poison Adrena today, the 6'3", a BFS version, because then I could buy this reel and put on it, and then I'm real bougie, right? So I'm thinking I'm gonna stick with Daiwa reels and Shimano rods, right? Change it up a bit. And while we're here, I want to say it was Brew Tank that turned me on to the first Conquest I ended up buying. He's like, hey, they got some Conquest on Digitaka, and I jumped on there and bought one. It was like early morning. They put them on overnight, which is their day or our morning kind of thing, switches. So let's get out of there. Let's go to Shimano reel, casting reels, Calcutta Conquest BFS. These are more expensive. Still no sign of when they'll be in stock. And if you guys are wanting, I do have the older version. What did I say I'd take for that? Whatever I said I'd take, I'll take $300 plus $15 to ship it. So $315 to get the older one. Calcutta Conquest BFS, not this dude. This guy's going to be like just over 400 bucks. Touch smaller, should be way more capable, but not much more capable. The one I have, if I haven't mentioned it, or you're wanting the Calcutta Conquest, the older version, I do have the AliExpress spool that, I can't even think of the name of it now, but the BFS spool in gold, I believe. But an awesome spool, loud. Definitely casts better than a stock spool, but it is louder with that bearing. It probably needs it switched out. It's got that, what you call it. Now I know somebody, probably Eddie and Nate and a lot of you guys that are Shimano fans. And yeah, I said Shimano. And Brew Tank now, since he has a Bantam. I was debating this. They've got it right there. Look at that. Shallow edition. But they're not giving me oil. See that? they put the X on the oil. I'm like, I'm out, dude. If you're not going to give me Shimano oil, I'm not buying Shimano reels, right? I know. Part of me still says, buy this, put it on the Adrena, go on, get the 110 special Megabass, put my Steez Limited on shallow spool on it, and then do a battle royal. A bougie battle royal. Who will win? I can tell you right now who's going to win. I'm going to win because I'd have two awesome combos, but I wouldn't even need them because they do the same thing. And it doesn't even matter if one can cast 5 foot further than the other. They would be awesome combos. So, I don't know. Part of me has thought about doing that. But no, I can't. I can't do it. That reel definitely, the shallow one with the, it's lighter, it definitely is, it looks better. But this part right here kills me. I just can't make myself, if you guys remember right, my Aldebaran, I had the Aldebaran 22, I can't remember which one you guys bought it, but the Aldebaran 22 has that funky, jinky side. I think it's on the cranking side, but it just looks horrible in my opinion. I don't like that. The Bantam looks better, but the Bantam, I couldn't get used to the weight on the Bantam. So I sold it to Brew Tank. He loves that thing. I know he does. Probably balances that 610 Expride medium perfectly. It actually, the thing's probably still a little tip heavy, just a touch. What else we want to look at while we're here? Now, if I had to pick, if you guys, in all honesty, other than that, if I had to go Shimano, it'd probably be that dude. But not only just the reel test, but this dude right here, for a few reasons. It's probably the cheapest, but better than the Curados on what it comes with, and I don't know why they put it in the SLX and not the Curado. It comes with a little better DC braking. This would be a good one also, just for if you wanted first hand at DC. If you jump over here, you can get it for be about $250 probably by the time you're said and done. You're basically, it looks just like, it's almost on the same frame as the Curado 70 and the Curado BFS. So you could actually, if you wanted to go that route, that should be a good one too. I just can't pull the trigger because I know I'd buy it and it's going to have that plastic worm gear, and I'm going to turn the handle and I'm going to go, oh God, feel that resistance? Yeah. Because when I was up at Rogers and I bought the Adrena, I went up there and I was having her, I don't know, I tried a couple different reels on it. I just wanted to make sure, so I had them hand me their Steez, which is just the Steez SVTW, and I put it on the Adrena and I'm like, yeah, that pump's pretty good. But I tried, what did I try? I tried a couple different reels, but they had a left-handed Curado 150 MGL. And I turned the handle on it and instantly flipped it over and looked, seen the black on the worm gear, and I could feel the resistance in that Curado. What I was thinking about doing was going up to Rogers, because you can get, if you buy a reel up at Rogers, you get 20% off a rod. But they didn't have a reel that I couldn't just get 20% worth of money off just getting it somewhere else that I was interested in, the high-end bougie stuff. Now, they did have a couple good deals on loose reels and stuff like that, but I didn't want to go there. But if you are thinking about a rod and reel combo like I talked about the Curados, I'm sure you could get one up at Rogers, buy the Curado reel, and then get the rod 20% off of $159 would be $32, I don't know. So it would drop it down pretty good deal on the rod. I want to say their Curado 150 and 200 DC is $269, and maybe I think the MGL is also higher than I remember it should be. I think Tackle Warehouse has it cheaper. Let's go there. Let's get away from there. Let's go over here. And then I'm gonna get out here. I gotta get out of here. I gotta take a shower. Still gotta eat something. Casting reels, Shimano. But yeah, if you guys want a warranty, stick with Tackle Warehouse, your local, store. I recommend going and find your local tackle store. If you like them, you want to keep them in business, try to buy something from them if you're worried about warranty. I figure I spend enough money with Rogers that, like, I just bought the Adrena, about $400 with the other baits I bought. I bought No, I bought one NRX. I bought two used NRX from another place, but I bought my NRX from Rogers. My Bass Baby came from Rogers. They get plenty of my money. Right? Yeah. And I don't even know how much money, and when I just go up there and buy baits, I probably don't even need. I'll just see something that looks good. So yeah, the Curado out here, I want to say Rogers is trying to sell that thing for more money. I'll have to remind them, like, dude, that is not $269. It's $209. But honestly, even though that's an MGL, this reel would probably be cooler, more in line for me. It's the same frame, I think, 100%. But it's going to have a little bit different spool, a little bit different stuff. But that Tranx 150 would like be my styling over this dark green and black dude. But that reel does feel like palms, and overall, other than that slight resistance that all Shimanos I've held up at Rogers have in them. The one Brew Tank got doesn't, because that's the older one, and it still has a brass worm gear. The Curado BFS, I can't remember the one. I don't know if I felt resistance then. I did the Aldebaran, but I think the one Bones I got ended up with is good. Yeah, look just how dark the SLXs. Man, the rods look and feel good for $100. I mean, you could almost go there. I can't make myself like how. Do you see how squared off these things look? They're just too squared and blocky. They just look cheap. They actually palm okay. They just look cheap. And I don't even know how they work. I'm just not going to spend $100, buy one, see if I like the way they cast or not. They just look funky to me. Like from most the other angles, they don't. It's just the way you look at it that it just has a very cheap look. It looks, I don't know. It looks very cheap. All right, I'm going to get out of here. Let's go to AliExpress. One last little hunt on AliExpress to the reel that I still recommend. This little reel right here. Now, it won't hold big line. It'll hold big line, but it's got a graphite or carbon or plastic frame that has the thing cut out. Look, there's somebody selling real cheap, $54. But the Solo King Acura, 2 spools, 6 point, it says right there anyway, 6.4 grams, 7.9. I think that may actually be accurate for the Acura. Let's click on it. It's still a reel I recommend just because it'll do so much. I still have mine, the one, and it just works. You can get them. They're usually the cheapest ones you can get. Okay, the price went up a little bit, but right hand, the dual spool for $60, 45 cents, free shipping. Oh, 0 left. Is that right? Okay, those are gone. But anyway, you can find this. You wait for a sale. That's still probably the best all-around AliExpress reel that can do bass fishing and BFS fishing. Now, it's not going to do heavy, like I talked about, those half-ounce, gaff of a hooks, anything, say 4/0 and bigger, heavy gauge, like triple, gauge wire, like that kind of stuff. No, because I feel 15-pound test is the limit for it. You go to 20 or heavier and set drag, tighter, it's probably gonna break that little reel right off the rod you've got it on. I think the internals would probably handle somewhat, but no. Then the only other one, I don't even know what they're calling it. I don't even know what they're calling that thing now. Oh boy, Xing He Ling Long and some girl in a dress pops up. I just saw that. I know, I see the Arise. I'm not going to click on it yet. I was trying to look for... Oh no, it's getting dirty down there. Let's go back up. So let's click on this reel. Jay recommended me this one. I bought it. Sold it to Charles. Fit and Finish, that crazy high dollar looking box. And it's an awesome reel. And actually it looks good from this angle. Like, it's a good looking... I think it palms just a touch high for me, but not bad. I mean, it's a comfortable palming feel. It definitely works good. It just, I think it's a little finicky. That braking system right there is just, I don't think it's perfected. The arc reels from, if you go over here, where is it at? Casting reels. These arc reels basically have the same braking system. So the Gravity 5, 179, 129, and 239. So really, they're not much different in price if you wanted to go that route. So they should be, I'm sure they come from the same manufacturer, almost positive. But I think honestly, the Arise looks better, I think. Like this reel, I don't know if I can just get used to that, and it doesn't really show you on this angle, but how it's got that offset look to it. But that would be an option. I'm sure these are going to have a good sort of refined feel to them. But they almost look blocky in a way. Maybe in person they look better in those pics, but this reel right here, if you guys don't know, I'm sure some of you already know, you're like, yeah, you've talked about that one enough. That one with all the gold on it and the cutouts up here, it just reminds you of the Daiwa more than, which is based off of the Steez A with the other cutouts. And the one, that's the one I had. But then the purpley, just like Jay says, you can hardly tell the purple. It's so dark. And then they got a silver one, 6-4 to 1. But I just can't talk myself into buying another one. I may at some point. I haven't decided. I'm kind of waiting to see if they pop up and they've done something to it next year. I'm kind of waiting around. If they get that braking system, it comes with a drag clicker and it feels real good and smooth. And you can buy different spools. They're already selling that. Well, they're just spare spools basically on AliExpress. But it's definitely it's a cool reel, and it's something, just over $100. I put it this way: I'd probably rather buy one of those and fish it before I'd spend $650 for an aluminum Steez, because it is an aluminum frame. There's a frame, carbon fiber side covers. It comes with the drag clicker. It does come with, I'm pretty sure, I can't remember if it's brass or aluminum gears, but they do feel good and smooth. I mean, it feels like a legit reel. It doesn't feel like it's got any cheapness to it at all. Just it's a little, if you're trying to run it a little loose to get real good distance, it will, in my opinion, I feel like it will backlash when you wouldn't think it would. So, I mean, typically you just, if you're smart, you just go a click or two tighter on the drag, which the magnetic drag, which you can clearly do. Magnetic drag, the magnetic braking system, sorry, which you can do no problem, and it probably won't be an issue. Or you just cast it a little lighter. What do they got here? What am I looking at right here? Why am I looking at all different cutouts? When did that happen? Uh-oh. I guess there already is a new reel out. They've already updated it in little dogs, and I didn't even know about it. Maybe, like, see how these extra cutouts, that's like the angle, that's more like the arc. That's how the arc reels are. This one's got a little bigger thing cut out here with the BFS spool, and then this one's cut out, but with the same kind of spool. What is going on here? I haven't seen it. What was that I'm looking at? Can I click on that? No. Yeah. Oh, here it is. Did anybody else know these were out yet? I didn't even know. I didn't even know. Let's watch the video. Uh-oh, it's a guy fishing. Is he looking? He's looking at me. Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. Same braking, I think, but they did change a little bit of the styling, maybe. Yeah, they definitely have a few different options. Get on it, Jay. Order some up. Let me know what they did. See what happens? You don't go to AliExpress for like a day. That dude didn't have enough money to afford for all of his haircut. He just had part of his haircut. Yeah, see how they totally changed that? Well, they didn't change. That's what the arcs are. And then these are just cut out a little more. So it just gives you more options, like better looking ones maybe. So let's see, what do they give us? I can't, oh my god. I guess I can only get one thing. That one. What is wrong with my computer? I can't click on nothing. It's locked up. Oh my god. It just won't let me do anything. Oh, pre-order now. So they are new. I don't know what happened to my computer. Oh my god. It's a virus. Don't click on it, guys. Computer's going to shut down. Well, on that note, I'm going to end it right here and right now. That's an hour and 35 minutes. Is this a record? Hopefully you guys like that. If you have any questions about what rod and reel combos, I don't know. Once these do come around, I may have to take a look at these Arise again. But I think it's the same exact braking that I would think was a touch finicky. But they do. They're changing up a bit. And it'd be interesting to see what Art does in the next couple years. Because like I was talking, I was making fun of the Dobyns and don't buy the reels from a very good rod maker because they're probably junk. But if the arcs are, I have not tried one, the reel test has done it, but they're fairly legit reels. So if they work their way up instead of like 13 Fishing did, I feel just stuck in the past. Basically, they're just stuck on one level of like, they're not trying to progress. They may actually end up with some very, I don't know if they're going to compete with the Shimano or Daiwa, but some very good reels that definitely compete. I feel that Arise is like right there with the 13 Fishing stuff already. It's probably not as easy to cast just because it's all magnetic and it's not centrifugal also kind of thing. But like the dual ones from the Abus in them and the Bass Pro Shop House Brand 2.0s, those things I put right there with any of the SV or the SVS Infinity or whatever from Shimano. Like those reels cast very good. The refinement of the gears and all that I don't put with Abu Garcia or with Shimano or Daiwa. But as far as getting the casting, like I think we're already there. Casting ability on most of this stuff, you can cast baits about as far as you can cast the bait on whatever brand. The old Black Max I had, I put it up against my MG Extreme 2, and it barely changed. It was not much of a difference. $500 reel compared to a $40 reel. Alright guys, get out, go bass and bonsai, but whatever you do, have fun doing it. Jesus, criminy. Oh wait, hang on, I gotta read this. Hang on. Okay, I started 7:20. What time is it? Oh my lord. Go Expride and Destroyer. Let us know if it's worth the extra money. You take the hit for the channel. No thank you, Brutank. Did you talk all the way? Conquest, Antares, and Metanium for me. Yeah, I don't know. I can't decide now. I wanted the new Conquest. I was dead set I was going to get it. I was going to put on my, if you guys remember right, my Kyrum Rainy Stream Rod that looks good with a round reel. I was going to get the newer one and put on it, and that was just going to be my BFS for creek and streams. But now the SS Air, now I'm kind of like in the Adrenas, and they actually match up just fine. I can get a BFS one, but it's nothing old school. It's more like a modern look, so I don't know. Lewis says purple for me. Yeah. Brew Tank says good live. And on that note, I'm gone. Thanks, guys. We'll see ya. Stay tuned to see what I buy next.